They're all looking at us, all of them. Why do you suppose they're looking at us? They're just standing there. Why do you think they're staring at us? I don't know. Did you say anything to offend them? Everybody gets offended nowadays. They're all the babies. They're all standing there watching us. There's another one that came to watch us. That's weird. Come on, let's go. So it's time to get back into the gardening because I've been recovering and kind of forgot everything. So I'm going to show you what's left in my garden before the fall planting goes in. What I have left is I have some basil, some oregano. Those are weeds. I'm going to be weeding this weekend. I have some jalapenos growing, lots of jalapenos. Those do really well here on my property. This is reflowering, so I know this fall this is going to give me more jalapenos. This one, I don't know what happened. The birds attacked it, but it's coming back. There's more leaves that are coming back. So I know in the fall, these will start producing again. The heat here is intense. Okay, so my sunflowers, I think this is called Mexican sunflower. Look at this little cuteness up here. Sunflowers don't like the rainy season. This is corn. I actually grew corn and it did really well until I fertilized it with very high nitrogen. So I'm not sure if I can plant these next year. They are dry, so I did get some corn. It just never got into my mouth. That's a corn plant, corn and corn over here. Then more of those Mexican sunflowers there that are dead. Pepper plant is doing well. It's surviving and giving me lots of peppers. And this fall, I know it'll come back and give me more. My other pepper plant was around here and it died. This one here died. So not sure why, but it did not do good and it died. Now I do have some things coming back and I'm not sure what this is, but I left it there. I know there's some weeds amongst this, but I know I had mustard here last year and it looks like it's coming back because it did seed in this area. So I just have to take off what are the weeds and leave the mustard that's growing back here. My banana peppers are doing much better now, and I do believe that they will be doing well in the fall. So I have already eaten one, and hopefully I will get a lot more. My gingers are amazing. I'm going to start harvesting so that I can make teas with ginger and lemon, which I love. My celery is doing much better this year. It is in a corner where there's not a lot of sun. This one was kind of dying in the heat, but it's kind of coming back now. I've been watering it daily, lots and lots of water. I'm not sure what this is. I think it's some kind of a pumpkin, and I've just kind of let it trellis over here to figure out what it is. Probably in the fall, some kind of pumpkin will come out. So this shelf is going to be for all of my new seedlings. I'm going to move these pots, and I'm going to put all my seedlings here so I got to water them daily before they go in the garden. This is one of the projects that I'm doing now, getting ready for the fall, is I am harvesting all my zinnia buds that have died because they all have the seeds in there. And I just want to show you, this is the giant zinnia. I was given this at the library. And the difference between this and the regular zinnia is, if you can see, the regular zinnia comes out from one stem on the bottom, like the one in the pots over there. They're just stems, but this is more like a bush. And I love these. These are the big flowers that are in my pot. So I want to spread these out all over here because I didn't get a chance to plant flowers this year. And some of these came up around the property, and I just kind of planted these. So God was good and gracious with me because I couldn't buy flowers this year, and these kind of popped up around the property, and I just replanted them here and they've survived. I think this is called deadheading. So I also deadheaded these. These actually came up here in this spot too. So I've been lucky that this year a lot of the things that I wanted to do, God did for me, which is amazing. Here's another bed also that this is zinnias that I planted that just popped up around the property, and I moved them over here to the flower beds so that they are protected here. But the great thing about this is once the seed falls on the ground, they will come back up again. And I just love this zinnias. One of my favorite, I think, now are zinnias. They're so easy. They do so well here in the garden. And this is a plant that my mother gave me. It's a climbing plant, which I plan to buy a trellis for in the next few days. So you'll start trellising up in this little corner here. I have no food on my feet. I don't know. Maybe they're cleaning their beak on there. I don't know. These are my hibiscus plants that I planted here by the gate. And they're getting super beautiful. You can see they have hibiscus in there. So projects that still have not been done, that this heat is just too intense to do, is the pavers. I moved them from here and I want to do some kind of a flower bed, planting bed over here. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do here yet. I just want it to look pretty. I want to have some flowers in the back. So I took the pavers out and I'll be fixing this area up. I bought this trash can. It was on sale and it already split. This was harvesting water for me. So I will probably end up getting another one of those barrels. I already have the blocks here. And that way I can harvest water here on the property. I saw one of my videos when it was raining, it just got flooded here. So I have to put an extension here during the rainy season. So when these are full, the water just goes out and onto the grass and doesn't pool up here on the pavers. The next thing is, of course, I got to finish this area here. Fall is in the air because leaves are already changing. So I can't say that it's been a bad year. It hasn't really, because I was lucky. I was blessed that God was able to have a lot of these zinnias come up for me. And that way I was able to just pull up the zinnia really easily, even with one hand, and just stick it in the ground and cover it up instead of going through all these seeds and dirt and all this stuff. And they came up in the flower beds. So I was blessed with that. A lot of the projects that I didn't do when it was cool, that's stuff that I will have to do in the fall. So my hand is getting a little bit better now. Even though I try to surpass the pain and I try to bend the fingers as much as I can, it's still at that point that I can't get them to do that. They're still kind of, they're in that position, and I still have to wear my glove at night. So, but I'm definitely able to do things now around the property a lot better than I used to. I've been very fortunate in the past few years to have invested my money wisely in real estate. And in 2019, right before I headed off to out west, I purchased a rental house, about 30 minutes from my house, and I did really well with it. I ended up selling it back in June of this year. And I made a significant profit so that I can go in and invest into the kingdom of God, I like to say it, because God has been taking me on this incredible journey that I've been trying to understand. As the world is getting worse and worse and worse, He is bringing me to a place to realize that I need to exit the matrix. And exiting the matrix is a choice. Yes, you can exit the matrix. I do pay my taxes because I do understand that I still am under this world. But there's many things that I have cut myself off of. So let me take you back a little bit before we continue with this. Okay, well, they changed the time in March. I realized that I didn't want to change the time because I go through so many problems with sleeping, with routine, with my animals, because of the time change. So I decided, you know what? Why am I going to change my time? Why can't I just follow God's time? I don't want to participate in this craziness that they do every year with the time change. I don't consent to it. You know, I don't have to wait for legislation to come in and change it for me to follow the time of God, right? So it is now August. I am still following the time of God. So when the change comes in, November, I don't have to change my clock because I never changed it in the first place. And I know that, I think there's 2 states that do that, which is Alaska and Arizona. For me, I've been participating this way in the world in a very different way. So let me show you how God showed it to me in the spirit. In my property, I have a fence all around my property. When I come to my house, the way that I see it is, I am in the kingdom of God. He gave me this property. I paid for it to live on it during the time that I'm on earth, okay? So I paid for it. It's mine. It's almost like a rental agreement because everything belongs to God. Nothing is ours. And when I go, I leave it to the next person of the family, the next person in the generation, right, of my family. So God has given me this little space, my space, for me to glorify Him with my life, which means that on this property, I am moral and I respect His laws, and I only invite those people that I know that are going to uplift God and not people that are not going to lift up God, right? So that is where I'm at as far as my boundaries are concerned. Okay. So I now really discern the people that come in to my life and the people that I allow to come here, or if they will come back, put it this way. Because some people you really don't know them, and then you kind of know, and then you don't know whether you're going to invite them back or not. That's the way that I've been living. I've been living with the point that I have a time on my phone, which is the world time. And I also have the time on my phone, which is the house time. So whenever I have an appointment, like let's say I have a 10 o'clock doctor's appointment, I have a planner where I write in the time that I have to leave. And I follow that morning when I get up and have an appointment, I follow the world clock, the clock that has to do with the outside world. Because now I know what time I have to leave, what time I have to get dressed, what time I have to breakfast. When I come back home, it is such a relief that I have an extra hour, because when I come back home and let's say I get home at 4, it's not really 4, it's 3 o'clock. So it's been so wonderful. I feel like I have so much time to do so many things. It's given me such incredible peace and joy in my life. So I hope that you guys try to participate in it. If that's something that blows you off a lot, is the time change. I could do this because I don't work for somebody. I don't have to get up and go to work and be at a certain job, but I still have to honor appointments at the time that they're given to me. So I just have to make allowances for that. And I open my gate to go out into the world. I know that now I am not under God's kingdom here, the little area where he's given me as a refuge. I am now in the world. And I've changed my mindset to the point now when I leave the fences and I'm saying, okay, prepare yourself with the armor of God, because you are going out in the world where there's people out there that are disrespectful, they're rude. Not everybody's like that, but being aware of this now, of this part of my life where I can separate the two, has given me a lot of peace, because now when I go out, I am prepared to handle all of those things. So that's what I wanted to tell you about that. So for me, investing now in the kingdom of God, what I call here my little space, my little kingdom of God here, is where I want to put my money. So I decided I did not want to do rental anymore, 3-bedroom houses, rental like I've done all my life. Number one, it is getting really hard to find good tenants. Number two, it's a lot of money to rent. The taxes are incredibly high now. The insurance has gone sky high to the point that last year I had a lot of trouble finding rental insurance for my property. And I was afraid that I was not going to have insurance for that property, and I was going to have some crazy tenants in there with no insurance. And that was something that I decided, next year I'm going to sell the house, because the properties are skyrocketed here in Florida and I can get out of that. So what I am planning on doing is I'm investing the money that I got into this property. And the reason is I have 2 lots on either side that I can invest in. I want to be able to provide space on my property for one person or an older couple. I've already searched around. I've done research on tiny homes. I've done research on shed houses. I've done research with builders. I actually have some builders coming next week here to give me some pricing and some general information. So I've already been to a couple of places so that I can make my final decision. Hopefully by the beginning of September, I will be deciding on what I'm going to do here. So for now, I'm planning on building a house on that one lot over there. And then eventually I will plan to build another house on the other lot. Now, I have been to the zoning department, and my property is considered rural. So the good thing about that is that I'm allowed to build up to 850 square foot home on either one of those lots. Now, if I wanted to sell the lots, my property, I'm taxed as 3 acres, but each lot here is individual. So I have 3 lots on my survey. And right now, if I wanted to sell one lot, I could. Now, one lot here where I live, they're going for about $65,000, but those are the ones without the view. I have this amazing view on and I have a fenced, mine is also fenced. So I'd probably get around, I'm going to say 70 to 75,000 probably for 1 acre plus another one. So I'd probably, if I sold the 2 acres and just kept my house acre, I would probably get 75 and 75. So I'd get $150,000 for those acres. But I'm not really interested in the money. I'm interested in getting an income for the property. Now, the problem is if I build a house, I also have impact fees that have been discussed with me. On 1 acre, I think it's about $2,000. On the other acre, it's about $6,000. So actually building a foundation on the house is going to cost me more as well. I've also talked to them about selling the land as well. I could sell the land if I wanted to. Now, building a mother-in-law suite would join the property together, so I couldn't sell it later on as a separate lot, because in where I live, we do have deed restrictions where the minimum house size, I think, is 1,500, and it has to have a garage. So if I build a mother-in-law suite that's under 1,500 without a garage, it would not be considered a lot on its own unless the people were willing to expand the house to accommodate that, or I would have to expand the house and then sell it because it would be under the restrictions. So I don't really plan on doing none of that. For right now, what I really am interested in is just having an income, because eventually I'm going to retire and I'm going to have an income. But my plans is that I really want to go to Alaska. Now, my heart is really stuck on this trip. For some reason, of all the places in the United States, Alaska has been calling my name for the longest time. I think I watched like every show in Alaska. And it's just, I'm obsessed with Alaska. And I don't know if God is drawing me to eventually move there or to build something there. I watch a lot of videos on building, on purchasing land. So I think that this is going to be a good test for me. All of these things that I'm going to learn about building, how framing, constructing on land is going to be so beneficial for my future. I really do think this is a step in the next direction for me, because I've always wanted to build. I've just never had an opportunity to have the time to do it. And now I can do it. So I'm interested in that, because maybe in the future I decide to move to Alaska part-time and then have this house rented out and just have a place for me to park here in the wintertime when it gets super cold. I don't know. I can't say exactly, because I haven't been there. So for me to sell everything and just go to Alaska on a whim doesn't work for me, because, you know, I like the warm. I don't know how I'm going to adapt. Maybe it's just something I want to go and just visit and be there for a while to really explore in my camper. So I don't know. I don't know what the plans are. I know that right now I have to get this place prepared for investment purposes at this point. And at the same time as I do that, I'm also increasing the value of the property as well, which is wonderful for me. So I can also be a help to family if there's family that needs to come and stay here. Instead of them paying rent to some landlord, I mean, look at the land that I live on, which is amazing as well. That is the journey that I am on in the next few weeks. I have some appointments with builders next week, and then I'm going to take you on a journey of my decision and why I chose my decision and where it's going to go from here. So I hope you will follow me in that decision, because I am really convinced that things may get uglier in the future. And I do not want to participate in any systems that have to do with getting any type of medical anything, you know. So I rather live my life here on the homestead, eat my food, grow my own garden, eat my chicken eggs, and try to build some kind of a little community. I don't have a tiny home community, but I will have a little community here in this little piece of land, which is kind of the way that God, I think that's his intent, is for us to live kind of in community with each other. And I know that if I do provide a home for somebody who's older, it could be very beneficial for them as they're aging, and it could be beneficial for me also, because when I travel, they can also watch things for me or whatever. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future, but I know that my path has already been moving towards the direction of investing into this property so that I can be more God sustainable in my life as he leads me through all of the projects that he wants me to go through, because I know that he's also leading me for that trip to Alaska to get to, I'm hoping in 25. This would be after the election. So in 25, 26, something like that. I think that's where I'm headed. And I really hope, I'm really excited. I'm motivated for that. So I hope that you will join me on that trip. And I thank you for watching. And I'm going to show you here the property now of what exactly I'm planning on doing. So if you're interested to watch exactly what I'm planning on doing, I'm going to show it to you here now. Right, so this is where my house is, my driveway. My driveway is 12 feet wide. And then this is the acre here I'm gonna build on first. I say it's pretty long. Okay, this is the street. So that means a truck has to come in and it has to sway out in order to get the shed house in. Need 3 of these removed in order to come in. Okay, so that's one lot that I'm gonna build on. So this is on the other side of my house, is my 3rd acre. And this is the smaller acre, but it opens up wider in the back. So the front is a little bit narrower than the back. It actually swings out in the back. So this is where I'm going to put the 2nd house. The smaller house is going to be over here. If you like this video, if you like the plans that are coming up in my life, I'm super excited and really motivated. And if you want to connect with me on that journey, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then you will see my videos when they post every week. Have a lovely day. God bless. Bye-bye.